Can you please state your name and spell it, please?
My name is Glenn Herious. It's spelled G-L-E-N-N-H-E-R-I-O-U-S.
And you're here to make accusations of a current city council candidate that was endorsed by the Mount Vernon Democratic Party, correct?
Correct.
And what is that candidate's name?
John Boykins.
And can you explain your complaint with John Boykins and with his candidacy as a Mount Vernon City Council candidate?
First and foremost, he stole from my wife and I in regards to monies given to us for the Sandy Relief Fund to fix our basements after our basement was flooded out. We had qualified for this scope of fees to repair the basement, and along comes John Boykins, who I took as a friend to help get this done. And in this process, John stole $2,500 from the process, which again comes from my wife and myself. They make us responsible for all the monies that come in and how they go out, and John stole from me.
Okay, so you received that money from the Sandy Relief Fund,
known as New York Rising.
Okay, great. And with that money, you sought repairs to your home from the damages of Sandy.
Correct.
And you sought the services of candidate John Boykins, correct?
Yes, he and his associate, who is known as Mike Figueroa and Sons. And when you get these people into your home, what you're supposed to do is submit to New York Rising, which is HUD, which is a federal organization, what they're going to repair, and the monies that they again submit for are paid to the homeowners to pay to the working group, which is John and his partner Mike Figueroa.
Okay, and in the process, when you paid them the monies for the repairs, how long was the process that you had to wait to see that there were no repairs coming?
You got to understand something. This happened last June. We're now stuck this summer because both John and Mike have never completed the work in my basement, to which at another time you're going to be invited to my home to see the disrepair that they left. But in this process of getting this going, they give you certain preliminary fees. There were $2,500 offered in the beginning of this because the third party in on these repairs had to be an architect, to which those monies were paid to the architect at the fee of $500. So $2,000 was left, and Michael Figueroa confirmed that he paid that $2,000 to John. So John got paid in the beginning of this process. Now, nearing the end of this process, where the work needed exceeded the money given in the scope. So you have to apply for something called a 6100 form, which is a change order in the scope to get more funds. In the process of doing that, they, which is New York Rising, sent us $2,500 more, covering the effect if that the process is going to be cleared and we were going to be accepted. They would already have in place the monies to pay the architect again.
Right.
Those fees, John came to us and pressured us like a bat out of hell that he had to take these monies to the architect and pay him in order to get the 6100 form done. What happened in that process, John took that money, New York Rising stopped all work and all process being done and said, get that money back from John Boykins.
Really?
Asking John to repay that money, to give that back, he came up with every deniable excuse you could imagine, saying that he, one, had to get paid. Well, you were paid prior for the $2,000 up front. That was your agreement with Mike Figueroa. However, for the homeowners, Glenn and Gail, your so-called friends, there was no need to take that money because guess what? They never submitted the proper documentations of completed work and or the 6100 change order because New York Rising became frustrated with John about all the lying figures he kept submitting with no completed work. So they said, okay, homeowner, this is what we're going to do. We want you to stop this process. We want to get clear. Submit all the correct paperwork with pictures of the work as it started, where it is now, and what you're reaching for. But one thing, get that $2,500 back. I went to John, sat down with him, invited him back in my home, along with my wife, and said, John, just get that money back. We need to get this work complete. I can't pay you back. I needed to get paid. That was his exact words.
So let me just stop you there. So city council candidate John Boykin, he was paid $2,000
in the beginning of the process.
In the beginning of the process. You gave him another $2,500
near the middle end of the process.
Near the middle end of the process. So he actually walked away with $4,500.
Correct. Now, we were told that the end part of this was he had to pay the architect. That architect is Dennis Douglas. Mr. Douglas has given us a letter, and I'm going to bring that stuff to you, where he said for the court that John never paid him the $2,500. We took that paperwork along with me suing him to the court when Judge Seiden ruled against him in Mount Vernon that that candidate stole that money and he was obligated under law to pay the money back to the homeowners.
Wow. Wow. And you have all the paperwork.
I have all the paperwork.
And you will supply Black Westchester with all the necessary
I'm going to give you everything and more.
To actually post.
Yes.
Now as a resident and a taxpayer of Mount Vernon, and going through this with a nominated candidate by the Democratic Party in Mount Vernon, what does that tell you where the Democratic Party is today in Mount Vernon?
I find that it's cesspool mentality. How do you vet someone when you have not checked their bona fides? And the person that vetted John, by the way, wasn't that the same person when John was running with Clinton back when Clinton came into power, said that there was something wrong with John Boykins then, but now he's singing a happy tune like John's record disappeared? The same John Boykin who, as a drunk, crashed a city car and said, why am I going to worry about it because the taxpayers are going to pay for that car? Didn't that past administration had to get rid of him based on the fact that not only is he a drunk, not only does he do strange numbers, but his associate with Sue's Rendezvous. What are they going to do? Open up a branch of the city council inside Sue's to accommodate John?
I hope not. Judge Seiden ruled on your case.
Yes, he did.
And was there any penalties if John wouldn't pay?
Well, here's what John did to further rub it into my face and show how he just doesn't follow the rule of law. He took the $2,500 and paid $2,000 to the architect who was no longer involved with the Sandy matter. So to spite us and to piss at the court, he paid $2,000 to Dennis Douglas, shortened it $500. And after I went to Mr. Douglas and explained this to him with the help of Mr. Sammy Rivers, Mr. Douglas voided out that check paid to him. So John still owes this money because nobody else wants to get involved with thievery.
And you have all the copies.
I have all the copies and proof. And that allows me to, and once a candidate elected or just applying for it puts on the cloak of public office, I have every responsibility to let every citizen know. And I'm also the co-chair of the Southwest Side Civic Association. Many people may remember me. I'm also the sergeant at arms years ago for the Police Advisory Board Council. My record in this town is clear. Even to the point of my interactions with Ernie Davis. Ernie Davis never stole from me, but this one stole from me, and I wonder how that council's president sat there and vetted this guy and didn't check his bona fides.
And last question, what does that tell you about the Democratic City Committee Chairman, or acting chairman, Reggie Lafayette, who allowed this, who actually co-signed because he allowed the vote, and did not, he allowed it to happen. He's a candidate. What does that tell you about the leadership?
It tells you about something that's either, I mean, between deaf, dumb, blind, and stupid. How do you say that you're functioning business practicing fellows where if this was somebody applying for the job, didn't you check their record out where they worked prior? Did you check their standing record now to see if there's anything on the books of law that would not allow this person to get this position? So they're trying to tell us that despite all the malfeasance of John Boykin, proven, this is not me going after him saying that I have a vendetta. No, I have proven facts and evidence that John is the most corrupt thing coming in anybody's voting direction. How did they sit there as so-called experienced men and say, oh, geez, everything's good? His record in government with the last administration said that he wasn't qualified to run for dog catcher. Did he have an altar call or something? Did the church bless him or cure his soul? No. One thing about snakes, no matter how many ways they shed their skin, they're still snakes.
What do you say for the naysayers, for those district leaders who voted for Mr. Boykin to be a candidate, that you're just saying this out of a vendetta against his candidacy?
Well, there's something about vendettas. You have to understand them clearly. People don't go after you just because. Again, I'm saying this pragmatically. I won in the courts of Mount Vernon against John Boykin for money he stole, and the record of that, not personal vendetta, of the pragmatic steps to get this money back, and that will include them having to call New York Rising themselves. You could step around me, you could say whatever you want, but meet me at City Hall every month or 2 weeks into these months when they have this meeting with the City Council. I'm going to bring this all back up again, and I'm going to bring the paperwork. Anybody who wants to question me, meet me there.
Now that you brought up the City Council, it was a good. I'm glad you brought that up. You've been going to the City Council. You went last month, and you brought up the issue of John Boykin, and you just was there last Wednesday.
Yes.
What happened this last Wednesday? Were there issues with the City Council or the City Clerk's office not allowing you to speak on the issue of John Boykin?
Well, I'll put it this way. There's certain things, technically like glitches that happen. I could allow for that because when I called in, the number that I called in was the city clerk's number. And it bounced from that office to another office where the young person answering my call said, okay, there's a problem or whatever. Give me your information, Mr. Herious. I gave her all of my information and said that the reason why I'm coming is to denounce and make sure everybody understands the thievery that John is supposedly bringing to the city council. They're supposed to be honored people. And that was my message for that evening. I got there this past Wednesday 20 minutes ahead of time because when I inquired about am I going to speak, nobody knew I was there. I spoke to a council member who was trying her level best to help me, and that was Councilwoman Deborah Reynolds. She ran inside, and when it came back out, two people again, John Boykin's pals, who came down the court almost in a lip lock. One was the present chairman, that's Marcus Griffith. The other guy who sat there and gave me the grumbly face about my wanting to speak and I'm not on the record books was George Brown. And they stopped other city members in the council, even the city clerk representative was there trying to get me to speak. Somehow they managed to block it. They didn't want to hear my story again.
Okay. Well, we thank you. Is there any last words that you would like to say to the readers and the viewers of blackwestchester.com?
In all my time here in Mount Vernon, there's one thing that cannot or will not be impugned is my reputation. I've stood up for the Southwick side on many different issues, no matter how small or large. People know me. The people that came out of my group is Judge Edwards. You also have the commissioner who's part of my group back in the day when he was a sergeant and in the Department of Policing. These people know me. So there's no one who could say that, guess what, Glenn is someone that we can't trust. He's a liar. He's a proven malfeasance person. No, there's no one. Like I said about Ernie Davis, he and I have had many back and forth about many issues over the years, but he's one of the people that recommended me for Sergeant at Arms for the Police Advisory Board Council, to which I got a certificate from him and I got a certificate from Terry. My reputation is clean. Ruth Hassel Thompson sat in my home as a Southwest Side Civic Association person. So if anybody has any challenge to me, go ask those other people about me. There's no one walking in Mount Vernon that can oppose me about when I bring my word to you. It's not personal. It is the fact of my responsibility as a citizen, which I've always done now for 27 years.
Thank you very much.